Which colouring pencils are best? I don't know, so let's try some out. I'm normally a graphite, paint or craft sort of person, not a colouring in person, but sometimes I like to try out new things, and one of the things I'd love to get better at is using colouring pencils to make art that's actually worthy of showing other people. But which pencils are best for beginners? I honestly don't know, so I'm reviewing 3 popular artist brands and giving my honest opinion of each one. The brands I'm trying out are Arteza, Prismacolor by Sanford, and Polychromos by Faber-Castell. Price-wise, Arteza is the cheapest, and Polychromos are the most expensive, although the Prismacolor isn't too far behind, but there isn't a huge difference in price, and as always, it's useful to wait for sale if you have the chance. I wanted this to be a fair test, so I got a reference photo from Pexels and divided it up, using one brand to colour each quarter of the image. For the 4th quarter, I used my normal Derwent graphic pencils as a control. To make things just a bit extra challenging for myself, I also have a sprained wrist at the moment, but as they say, no pain, no gain. And boom, here is my divided up comparison drawing, cutting straight to it. Before I give my opinion, here is how I judged the pencils. For each brand, I've scored them based on the following aspects: comfort, ease of use, price, colour load, blendability, and selection of colours. So, Prismacolor. These pencils are really soft, maybe a little too soft, as I found they snapped quite a lot when they've been sharpened. And you do need to sharpen them a lot, especially if you're trying to do fine detail or edges, but they were really enjoyable to use overall. They were comfortable to hold and felt solid. These pencils scored 75%. Arteza. Not as soft as the Prismacolor, so a little harder to blend. The colours are a bit less saturated, but only just. Out of all the tins I got, this had the best colour selection. To use, they were just as comfortable as the Prismas, and as I mentioned before, they were also the cheapest. The Arteza pencil scored 70%. Polychromos. As I said earlier in the video, I have a sprained wrist at the moment, and I really felt it using these pencils. The Polychromos are hard. Really hard. It felt like I was abusing the paper. They do seem to have the highest pigment load, but because they are so hard, they're really hard to lay down and blend. And although it was only a 36 colour tin compared to the 48 in the Prisma and Arteza tins, the Polychromos also had the worst selection of colours. I scored the Polychromos 50%. So which are best for the beginner? From a price point, definitely in the Arteza. Although the saturation is not quite as high as the Prismacolor, you get almost the same results. The Prismacolor are definitely the overall best performance-wise, and I would definitely recommend these. However, as they are so soft, I can see them being expensive over time, as you'll need to replace them quite rapidly if you use them a lot. Unfortunately, despite the reputation and popularity, I wouldn't recommend the Polychromos at all. Despite having the highest pigment load, they're just too hard and don't mix well as standalone pencils. In conclusion, although Prismacolor is the overall winner, it's only by 5%. So if you're new to colouring pencils, I would actually recommend going for the Arteza pencils initially, unless you really need that extra 5% or don't mind spending the extra for Prismacolor. Personally, I plan on using the Arteza pencils before moving on to the Prismacolors. I'd love to hear your experiences using these brands, so comment below if you have a favourite and why. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave a like if you found this video helpful.